Thank you so much to the UTRGV Jazz Ensemble, playing many of my favorite songs. This wonderful, wonderful group of musicians are our students, and we're very proud of them. So what about a round of applause for the
Distributed across 1,881 square miles of South Texas and a community of more than 1.3 million people, the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley impacts close to 30,000 students each year. UTRGV is committed to conducting research that is relevant to our community, to increasing student success and opportunities, and to improving healthcare throughout the region. This is only the beginning. The University of Texas Rio Grande Valley is poised to change the academic and economic landscape of South Texas forever by establishing itself as a top emerging research institution, and will do this with support from visionary leaders. Visionary leaders motivate change. Visionary leaders inspire others. Visionary leaders pave the way. And visionary leaders influence the future. The Robert C. Vackar College of Business and Entrepreneurship. Together, we will inspire the world.
As you just saw, we're here today to announce that because Bob Vackar has made a $15 million gift to UTRGV, we're naming our College of Business for him, the Robert C. Vackar College of Business and Entrepreneurship. Yeah. To say that this is a historic moment in the history of our university is dramatic understatement. This is a game changer for us. Words don't express our gratitude as an institution. Our gratitude as an institution will be expressed in the success of our students for generations and generations to come. This naming will exist in perpetuity, and we cannot wait until the day that Bob and Janet's grandchildren and great-grandchildren are Vackar graduates. Think about that. I cannot tell you what a gift of this magnitude means to UTRGV and to the Rio Grande Valley as a whole. Most great universities have their colleges of business named, and today we join those ranks. This gift allows us to recruit and hire the best and brightest faculty. It'll enable us to recruit the best and brightest students and to put the best and brightest students with the best and brightest faculty. And to think about this, hopefully one day those students will graduate and work for the Bert Ogden Auto Group. To Bob, we hope we'll supply you with a lot of really fine graduates like Natasha. Thank you so much for the trust you've placed in us. And to Janet, thank you for supporting Bob in this endeavor and for being a steadfast cheerleader as we move forward. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our Chancellor, I asked Janet Pankratz, his chief of staff, I said, well, what should I say about our chancellor? And she said, well, just point out that, what would he like for me to say? She, well, he's handsome, fun-loving, and a wonderful guy. She didn't think I'd say that. But you know, the thing is, it's all true. It really is. And he's been a great asset to this university. All of you know that Chancellor William McRaven, Admiral McRaven, is one of the great patriots in the history of our country. He's done marvelous things for us. I mean, he is one of the reasons we are safe today. But he's also done wonderful things for the UT system. It's been my pleasure to work with him now for a year. I can't tell you how impressed I am. He is all about student success, and he's all about the Valley. He's been here on a number of occasions, and it's my honor now to introduce him. William McRaven.
Well, thank you very much, Guy. You could have stopped at handsome and fun-loving, and I think it would have been a great introduction. So, but let me thank you, Guy, for that introduction. But more importantly, let me thank you for your leadership of the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. As President Bailey said, I've had the opportunity over the last year and a half to work with him. You know, you are blessed, we are blessed in the UT system to have this kind of man leading this great institution. And Guy, it has just been a real pleasure to work with you, and I look forward to the many years to come. I will tell you, it's always great to come down here to the Rio Grande Valley. I tell the story, one of the reasons that I took this job was 3 of the regents came to visit me in Tampa when I was the commander of U.S. Special Operations Command. And they talked to me about the depth and the breadth of the University of Texas system. But then they focused in on the Valley, and they must have had good intelligence. They knew I grew up in San Antonio, and as a young boy I had come down to the Valley a number of times, and I loved what the Valley represented. And when I saw the Regents' enthusiasm for this new university, when it took the greatness of Brownsville and the greatness of Pan American and all that has come before it, and they wanted to bring it together in a way that had never been done before in terms of bringing great universities and regional academic health clinics together, this was a vision that I could get a hold of. And it was a vision that I saw for the future of the people of Texas. And so of all the things that they talked about in terms of what I could do and where I could help as a chancellor of the University of Texas system, this was the one that drove me. This was what I thought was most important. And I couldn't be happier to be here today to continue to do the great work that is going on here at UTRGV. I will tell you, I come down here and every time I have the opportunity to meet new people. And today is certainly no exception. And having a chance to meet Bob and Janet Vackar has really been fun. I mean, we've known each other for about 15 minutes now. And, these are the type of people that you immediately become best friends with, because you make connections. As you know, Bob spent time in the military and my time in the military, and you can make that connection instantaneously. And you see what great people they are, and how passionate they are about the Valley, their home here in the Valley. And this is, again, when I come down to the Valley, this is one of the things about the people here that is so remarkable, is how gracious they are, how friendly they are, how warm they are, and it is emblematic of the two of you. So, again, thank you so very, very much. This gift, as Guy explained, will transform this university in ways that nothing has done in the past. And so when you look at the opportunity here, and when you think about the folks that will graduate, the generations and generations and generations that will come through the Robert C. Vackar College of Business and Entrepreneurship, you realize that today is, again, the start of something special. You'll look back 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 100 years from now, and you will have influenced thousands and thousands and thousands of young men and women, and you will have changed and shaped the Valley forever. That's a hell of a legacy. And it starts today, and again, I want to personally thank you for that. So really, Bob, I can tell you, you have my word as one old sailor to one old soldier. Thanks very much for this gift. Thanks for what you've done, not only for the Valley, but I know you have a particular interest in the veterans here in the Valley. I know there's some things that don't get publicized out there because that's just kind of the guy you are. But we know what you do for those that are wounded, for those that are hurt, for those that are hurting, and for their families. And again, that's a gift that will enrich the Valley for many years to come. So to all of you out here, and again, particularly to Bob and Janet, thank you just seems inadequate. Guy said it, sometimes you grasp for words. How do you say thank you to a gift like this that will change an entire generation of people? There aren't any words. I'll just have to say thank you, and thank you again. And again, thank you all for allowing me to be here today at this historic event. I couldn't be happier. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Kelly Cronin, Vice President of Institutional Advancement. Bob, I'm so pleased to be able to share this special day with you. Your passion for higher education in the Rio Grande Valley is unlike any other. A farmer recently wrote, "The true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you will never sit." And that's exactly what Bob Vackar has done today. During my short time here, I've had the honor and privilege of getting to know and becoming friends with not only Bob and Janet, but with their Chief Administrative Officer, Natasha Del Barrio. When we worked on the recent gift for scholarships, it became clear to me that Bob and Janet not only adore Natasha, but they trust and respect her opinion. What also became clear to me was Natasha's love for UTRGV and for Bird Ogden Auto Group. Today it's an honor and a privilege to be able to see both of her loves merge into one. Natasha started working at Bird Ogden Auto Group at the age of 15. She quickly saw the value of education, and she got her bachelor's and master's degree at our legacy institution, UTPA. I'm proud of her as an alum, and I'm proud to introduce her as my friend, Natasha Del Barrio.
Thank you for that introduction, Kelly, and thank you for being here with us today. For the better part of the last 19 years, I've had both the pleasure of working closely with the Vackars and the privilege of being able to call them friends. Not so long ago, I worked on a project where I was asked to tell their story. And for anyone who knows them, you know that their story would not be complete without acknowledging their deep commitment to giving back to others. I began making a list of faithful recipients of their caring and giving, and I'll tell you, it was a long list in the making, and it was pleasantly extensive. It's days like that and days like today that it would seem that there's no limit to what they're willing to do to give back to their community. Bob and Janet are both deeply, deeply committed to education, and Bob's passion for education became evident for me in a personal sort of way when I began college. I was working for these dealerships at the time, and I was immediately grateful for the tremendous flexibility I was given as it pertained to scheduling and accommodating my classes, but I very quickly became fond of Bob's banter and borderline harassment. He would tell me every single day that he was going to fire me if I quit college. Now, Bob, I'm pretty sure there's some labor laws against that, but I took it as encouragement. Some years later, I was fortunate enough to be offered a job with a Fortune 500 company, and to my surprise, Bob very eagerly encouraged me to take that position, and he told me it was time that I experienced what life was like outside of the nest. This was the first time I ever knew that I had been in the nest, by the way. But even then, once I was gone, he stayed close, he stayed engaged, and a little bit of harassment, a little bit of bantering, but he always made his efforts known that it wasn't enough and I needed to go on and pursue an MBA. Shame on me. I had never really considered taking that route, And on the particular day that I walked into this university and applied to the MBA program, I did not wake up knowing that that's what I would do. And if you ask me now, I really can't tell you how I showed up here that day, but I did. I applied, and all I can think is that it had to be that commitment ringing in my ears about how important education was. When I came back to work for Bob and Janet, Bob informed me from day one that one of the key functions of my job was to engage with the university, and I've got to tell you, it's one of my favorite things about my job. As I re-immersed myself in the dealerships, I began to hear jokes from Bob and some of the staff about you either came up through the proverbial Robert C. Vackar School of Business or the Robert C. Vackar School of Hard Knocks. Thankfully, I've only attended one of those. And while it's been a running joke throughout our organization that you've attended one of those two schools, I think it is very befitting of his passionate pursuit of higher education and people bettering himself that today we really do have a true Robert C. Vackar College of Business and Entrepreneurship. On behalf of your friends, family, the community, and your staff, we thank you for everything that you've done. We are so proud of you. And so grateful for all that you do. This is really, I'm so sorry. This is really an extraordinary gift. And like the Chancellor said, this won't only transcend generations, but this will really change your legacy from just being a very successful businessman and philanthropist to the rest of the world knowing what your commitment to education is in the same way that I do. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Vackar.
It's amazing the changes in my life over the last several years, and I really attribute that, and I attribute a lot of change. You know, as you get older, I don't want to say my age, but in the last several years, it's been an honor, and I met Dr. Guy Bailey, and I met Kelly, and Tasha came on board, and I got to tell you, and Tasha can say what she wants, but when she came on board, I never had a secretary or an assistant, and I said, "I'd like you to work for me and just, take over some of my projects." And and I said, "It'll probably develop into a full-time job," and I think it has. And she works, 8, 10-hour days, and she's put a lot of things together for us, and she's now got an assistant, and we're hiring a third assistant that's coming on board. And what we're really trying to do is put all the pieces together. And we're trying to free her up, because one of the number one things I want her to do is to get involved with the college. But as this thing looks and where we came from on this, and I appreciate everyone in here, but what changed my life is really the truth of the matter, and what I wanted to do is we looked at the number we have 100 college graduates working for us. 53 of them are graduates from the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. We have, and we have additional 20 employees that are enrolled with the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, working on their degrees now. That's a remarkable number of people. But the thing about it, when I worked for a multinational company, and I recruited all over the United States, and I will tell you that I have never recruited or interviewed or hired college graduates that were more qualified than the ones right here in the Rio Grande Valley. And that's a great honor to each one of them. The students here are so good. And and they have such a work ethic, and the work ethic, that's what makes it work. They're all so dedicated to have such a good work ethic. But we tried to do this, and I tried to put this together. I never could do it myself. Tasha came on board, and her and Kelly have developed a great business relationship. Dr. Bailey, I think we've become friends. I don't want to call you Bill, Mr. McRaven. Hey, when we were in the green room, he said, "Call me Bill." I don't have that rank, so I'm just going to call him Admiral, okay? And so Bill Overstreet's here, and I brought Bill in. Bill's our highest ranking military officer. He's a full colonel. That didn't do any good. So the colonel outranks us, so we're going to listen to him. But what a gentleman. And in the 15 minutes that we talked, I met him and his wife, and I can tell you, it's probably what drives a lot of it is our military experience, our military background. And I think when you put two military people together, regardless who they are, they just click, because you understand the sacrifices they made and what they went through. And I have such utmost respect for the military. The University of Texas system, and here in the Rio Grande Valley, and one of the things that we looked at, and I read the Admiral's book. He just wrote a book, and he had 6 principles of special ops. I took principle number 1, which is simplicity, and I'll ask my speech there, my talk's going to be simplistic. And the other one was purpose, and the purpose is where I want to end up, and that's why we're all here today. And as I look at it, and I wonder about the valley, and Janet and I moved back to the valley in 1982. We were talking about that earlier. My father moved down here in 1944, and he was with the John F. Grant Lumber Company. They had a lumber yard here in Edinburgh, and he was so well received and very successful. And he was a entrepreneur, and I always remember as a little kid talking. He would take me by the Grant's house in Gonzales, Texas, and they had 32 lumber yards throughout the state. And Dad was very successful and did very well, but he was always so loving and so caring about the people here in the Rio Grande Valley. Janet's father, Bert, you know very well. He had his first car dealership right down the road here. And Bert too was an entrepreneur. Neither one of these individuals had ever had the opportunity to finish school. Back in the 40s, things were a little bit different, but both of them had that drive, they had that work ethic, and look what they were able to put together. Both of them were successful business people. And the reason they were successful is the people of the Rio Grande Valley embraced both of those gentlemen and made them successful. And we realize that. And I can't tell you how many people come up to me when I'm somewhere in business, or I'm at somewhere out, and say, "Was your mother Mrs. Vackar?" And at Jefferson Elementary, I said, "Yes, she was." And they'd always, how she touched their lives and how much they appreciate that. So, this goes on for generation after generation, and the contribution that we can make. And that's what we're trying to do here today. Susan was a wonderful person, and she graduated from the school here, and she was Bronco Queen, and she was cheerleader, and she was an honor student, what I remember. I didn't go look it up. But we did an endowment for her last couple of months, the Susan Lewis Vackar Clark Endowed Memorial Scholarship. And I have had more people contact me about that, and friends of hers call me crying and tell me how sweet that is, and of me to think of her. Well, how could you not think of your sister and what all she's done for people? At the same time that we established that, we established the Janet Vackar Spirit of Philanthropy Endowed Scholarships, which we attribute to. And then we had the Robert C. Vackar Endowed Scholarship for Aspiring Entrepreneurs. And the reason the word entrepreneur came in, I'll tell you right, it's because of my father and my father-in-law. And then when we were talking with Dr. Bailey and we were talking with Kelly, they brought forward what we could do with the School of Business. And I felt that was jumping the gun a little bit. I really didn't. I thought we may want to delay that a few years, but then, you know what, we sat there and Tasha showed me she had this movie. It didn't have the school up there on my picture, but she showed the students. And she showed these 5 or 6 students, and they said they had a Vackar scholarship. And I thought, if we wait 10 years to do this, or if we wait 5 years to do this, these people that are enrolled right now in college and these people that are trying to get their degree, we're going to lose. We're going to lose 10 years. And so we put this together, and I will say this, Tasha had as much to do with this, and Kelly and Dr. Bailey as anyone. And we put it together, and that's why we're here today. But I think it's going to be very, very rewarding. I really do. But it all comes down to people, and it all comes down to the valley, and it all comes down to the people that we love. But what it really comes down to, and when we look at our employees, right now we have close to 970 employees. But that's not what we have. We have close to 3,000. We have the employees, we have the spouses, we have the children, and every one of those people is a responsibility to Janet and I, and we take that very serious. And what can we do for those people? I've seen some of our employees here today. I didn't see Gilbert. Is Gilbert here, Valadez? Okay, well, Gilbert's been with us 35 years. His daughter graduated from Pan Am, and his son's a federal probation officer. I've known Gibby since he was a little boy on our deer lease, and what a respectable young man. I see Marsha Green here. She's our vice president of advertising. Her two sons both graduated recently from Texas A&M University. And when I look at all our employees, and I look at all their children, and all their children that we talk to, and we pushing your children. How can we help? What can we do for you? And push them through school, and it's got to be so rewarding. And that's one of the things we're here to do. But it just doesn't stop there. We just have so much responsibility, and it all has to be from the heart. It has to be giving. And I know I haven't done enough, and probably will never do enough. But this is a start in what I want to do, and a start Janet always has. Janet's just got a heart to go. And I tell you, she's worked on me for 38 years. I apologize. 30. I was going to say 1 million, but I'm not that old. But Janet's worked on me forever. You know, when Tasha came back to work for us, she's just done such a fantastic job. I'm so proud of her. But it changes your whole outlook. And I'm told how I'm supposed to act. And I get these text messages. I'm having a staff meeting, and stay positive, stay positive. And I'm thinking, and then they asked me what I was going to talk about. This is what you can talk about. So I went from a 50-minute speech down to 8 minutes. So I'm getting close to the end, believe me. But the scholarships, and I guess Bill and talked about it, and Guy Bailey talked about it, and they stole a little bit of my thunder, but there's just not enough we can do for these young people, and we're so proud to do it. And I think as we move through generation after generation, we'll see this. I won't see it. I noticed my little grandson is sitting here. Walt, are you paying attention to your grandpa? He's on his cell phone, his mother's cell or his dad's cell phone, so he's in serious trouble. But you know, these generations, and that's what we all do. We look at our children, we look at our grandchildren, and it changes your whole attitude and your whole outlook. So, but I would like to thank each and every one of you, and we're very proud to be able to be involved, and we're very proud to be at the forefront of the School of Business Administration. I think we have a lot of other plans. We want to work with the college. We've talked about a few things as to the Career Center and placement, and as time progresses, that's what we'll work on. But I feel like, and I got to tell you, Dr. Bailey came from Lubbock, Texas, down here, and then Kelly came from Lubbock, Texas. And then they sent Alan White, who's the chairman of the Plains Capital Group, from Lubbock, Texas, and when they bought out and I thought, well, these are nice people. And then when Alan came down and they bought out the First National Bank, I had some things going at the bank, and I talked to Alan, and no one really wanted to listen to me. And Alan said, well, I think we can do that. And you know, about a month later, John John called me and he says, Alan's agreed to do everything you want to do, and he'll double it. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. And I said, do I need to sign anything? He says, no, just whatever you want, he'll double it. I said, okay. And I tell you, though, this whole group I think it's some kind of karma. They descended on me from Lubbock, Texas. and I couldn't say no. But I'm so proud to be part of this, and I'm so proud that we could do this. And what it comes down to, it really comes down, it doesn't matter where you went to college or where you got your degree or whether you did. This is the gratitude that we want to show for the people in the Rio Grande Valley. This is the people that have helped us, that we want to help. And the face that I want you to remember is not my face when you look up there, but the face of those students that said they had that Vackar scholarship. Thank you so much.
I'd be remiss without mentioning one other person here. You know, we're very fortunate to have a terrific Board of Regents of the University of Texas system, and we have a local board member, Ernie Aliseda. Ernie, we appreciate your being here. And Bob, we also have a presentation for you. And what we're giving you right now, and Kelly has this, is a shadow box with the pen that was used to sign the agreement. And also, perhaps more important, we're giving you the very first official UTRGV class ring. Very first, number one.
I'm gonna take my A&M ring off.
Oh, it's gonna fit.
How about that?
Well, I guess I can just throw this one away.
Yes. Yes.
You know, Dr. Bailey, when you said that, and you presented this to me, and I really appreciate it, and you said the pen that I signed the agreement with, all I want to say is, I was thinking I signed it in blood.
In closing, I just want to thank all of you all for coming. I know you took time out of your busy day to be with us today. It's a historic day, and thank you so much. If you'll exit west, we have some goodies for each of you. We have a shirt with the new logo and a lapel pin with the new logo, so be sure and take one and wear it proudly. Thank you so much.